1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the Parker Radio Show, powered by Unique Beatz. My name is Isaac Corbitt. Let's jump right in.
Hey everybody, let's go. I'm hoping that you're ready for another episode. You know we play that music in the UB studio. And now it's time to welcome everybody to the Parker Radio Show. Everybody, let's go. I'm hoping that you're ready for another episode. You know we play that music in the UB studio. And now it's time to welcome everybody to the Parker Radio Show.
Hey again, welcome back to another episode of the Parker Radio Show. I'm Parker alongside my co-host Toast, and we got a special guest, Isaac Corbitt from Murfreesboro here.
Yep.
Originally from what, Florida?
Jacksonville, Florida. Yep.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure having you here in the
thanks,
studio.
Thanks for having me here, guys.
Nice to be here.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the art of music.
Oh man, I'm a very blessed individual in which way of my parents, my grandparents, all my brothers and sisters, everybody plays music and sings. I guess it started with my grandparents, played gospel, and my grandfather played guitar, and my grandmother sang gospel. Then my dad played guitar and sang. My mom plays mandolin and sings. Brothers play guitar, banjos, sing. Sister plays ukulele and sings. And I kind of never did really play anything. I was just kind of like the oddball out, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess way back in the day there was a harmonica and I'd toot around, but I never really cared about it. It wasn't anything, you know.
Did you sing?
No. I only started singing like a couple years ago when COVID happened, and I was forced to because the singer couldn't, couldn't be 6 feet from each other, so you couldn't play gigs. So I forced myself to sing, so I never really did much. And then I guess about 16 years old, I was in a work program with high school, and I was on my way to work. I was doing electrical work. And my father had bought me a $5 Cracker Barrel harmonica, and I had it in the glove compartment of my truck. And a Doobie Brothers song, Long Train Running, that Without Love, it came on, and I heard that harmonica solo, and I just was like, God, it's amazing. I reached down in there and found that Cracker Barrel harmonica and started tooting along, and it sounded horrible. But like two of the notes that I hit were the same notes that he hit on the song. So like all day at work, I couldn't leave my mind. I just thought about it. And I went home and I bought that Doobie Brothers CD, and I got out that harmonica, and 2 weeks later I had taught myself that solo out of that. And of course it didn't sound just like that, but it's good enough to where my friends and my family was like, wow, that's pretty nuts. And went on from there. My brother started playing guitar, and me and him started jamming, and his wife was working for an Outback, and the cooks for the Outback were in a metal band. And we had never seen a band, and they were like, hey, come to our band practice. And when I went to their band practice, the lead guitar player and the singer had a harmonica mic, one of those green bullets, and a little harmonica amp. And I just had no clue that you could even mic, harmonicas.
Yeah.
So kind of went on from there. We ended up forming a band with them called Southern Trouble, and we did a lot of big stuff with them, and that was a lot of fun. And we did that for about 4 or 5 years, and that started winding down. And it's actually kind of a funny story. I don't want to take up too much time, but me and my brother, he owned a big fence company down in Jacksonville, putting up like wood chain link and wood privacy fence. And it's hotter than 3 hells down there. And there was one day out on a job in a cow field putting up a fence, and we were about to die. And I'm pretty sure at that age I almost had a heat stroke, even back then. I was in my late teens. And he just looked at me and I looked at him. And he said, "We got to go. Where are we going to go?" And I said, "Anywhere but Jacksonville." And he was engaged, about to get married, had a house with his fiance, and I had a girlfriend of 4 years. And within 2 weeks, he had called off the wedding, sold his business, sold the house. I broke up with my girlfriend, sold my apartment, sold everything. And 3 weeks later, we were in a U-Haul sitting in Jacksonville, and we had enough money, to get us anywhere in the United States with like a down payment on an apartment. And he just said, "Where you want to go?" We said, "Well, we didn't get that far. We didn't think about that." And like, where are we going to go? We're in a U-Haul now. So we ended up, he was like, "Well, everyone talks about music, and you play harmonica, play guitar. What about Nashville?" And I was like, "Yeah, Nashville." We thought Nashville was like Gatlinburg. We thought Nashville was like a little one-horse little town, like this little strip and everything. We had no clue. It was like a metropolis with like skyscrapers. And so like we drive all this way. It takes us like 12 hours to get up there in that U-Haul. And we pull up, and as soon as we get out of the truck, we get hustled for money by some homeless people. And then the traffic's crazy and people flipping us off. And me and him just look at each other like, we just left Jacksonville for Jacksonville. Because it was the same.
Wow.
It was almost like it's like, we got to get out of here.
Way to say it.
Yeah.
It never really used to be like that.
That's what I heard.
Nashville was really nice, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, Toast has been here
30,
a little over
almost
30 years. So, I mean, it was totally different. You had a couple honky-tonk bars there on Broadway and stuff like that, but it was nothing like it is today.
That's when we came. It was about 15 years ago. Is when we had showed up. And we just weren't expecting it. We were thinking some cute little country town. We just did not expect a city. And like that kind of craziness. And we left and went back to North Carolina where my mom and dad and my little sister were at. And she had a preacher. Their preacher of their church had a son named Pepper. And oddly enough, Pepper had just moved to a place called Murfreesboro. And he bought a 5-bedroom house with just him in it. And he was waiting for another year for his family to come. And he was a musician, and he came here to be a songwriter. So she called him, and he said, "Yeah, tell your boys to come." We'd never met him. He said, "Tell your boys to come and live with me." So we left North Carolina and ended up in Murfreesboro. And long story short, I was ended up playing with a bunch of bands around here that were nice enough to let me get up and sit in. I was going to all the blues jams. Murfreesboro used to have a killer blues jams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were jams everywhere, almost every night of the week. And I'd be running around with all these blues jams and playing with people, and then I'd sit in with bands, and then eventually got to a point where me and my brothers started the band, the Corbitt Brothers, at the Handlebar off Main Street. And we had every Thursday night, and it went from 20 people in there to 200 people in there, and then just grew and grew.
Was that jam at that point too?
Mhm.
Was that a jam at that point?
Yep.
Okay.
We hosted the jam up there. The Corbitt Brothers hosted the
Okay, I did not know that.
Handlebar jam night on Thursday nights.
I was involved with the Idle Hour on Murfreesboro in Nashville on Music Row, and I went in there for a couple of the jams, but the smoke was so thick.
Oh yeah, we contributed to that. In every way you can imagine. In every way you can imagine. Yeah, it was a smoky bar. A lot of people didn't want to come see us. But I was playing so much in Nashville with these bigger acts and bigger people, and I'd go sit in with them because, I mean, there's not that many really good harmonica players in Nashville. There are, but they're older and they're expensive. They don't want to come out of their house. So I was young and doing it for just next to nothing. They'd all promise me money, but I'd never get paid. So I would drive up like every night of the week, and I was underage, so I had to take my brother's ID. And we looked just enough alike where he would drive me up there, let me use his ID to get in, and then I'd go get drunk and forget to go out there and give him his ID back so he could get in. Poor brother. Thank you, if you're listening to this out there. Sorry for all of your white hairs I gave you. But so like all these people on their Thursday nights, they didn't have gigs, so they would come down to Murfreesboro and they would just post on their social media, or their back then was MySpace or whatever it was. Like, hey, we're going to the Handlebar Jam with the Corbitt brothers, and so all these people would just come out. And we started having all these guest sit-ins, and it was just me and my brother. And then a bass player came in one night and said, "I want to play bass with y'all," and we were like, "No, we don't want a bass player." And he said, "Well, I'm going to play with you anyways," and we were like, "No, we don't want a bass player." And he went to the bar and set up his amp at the bar, and just started playing along.
Was it Joe?
Huh?
Was it Joe?
No, he wasn't a Joe. His name was Coots.
Huh?
Coots. Yeah, Kevin Coots. He's like the senior executive chief airline pilot that flies around like the Celtics and the Lakers and stuff.
Wow.
And I don't know why he we were like, we don't want a bass player, and he was like, fine, I'm playing with you anyways. And he took his bass in his cab over to the bar and sat there and played along with us, and we felt like idiots because he was amazing. And we were like, oh man. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, we had a band. We put out a Craigslist ad for a drummer, men seeking men. And it was the drummer and his whole family and his girlfriend of 5 years came out, and his girlfriend said, if you join this band, we're breaking up tomorrow. Never looked back. We were together for like 10 years.
I was about to ask, did this organization cause divorces?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It 100% did. It caused all sorts of stuff. But we had a blast. So that's kind of like how I got into music. I mean, I was never really into it. And then the harmonica, my brother, and it just kind of like evolved. And my parents, luckily, were musicians, and they always played and sang in church. So they weren't someone who were like, you need to go to college, you need to do this. They were like, music, yes, go pursue music, be a musician. So they always pushed us, or not pushed us, but supported us in like everything we did. And I'm sure the type of music we played, them being God-fearing church people, probably wasn't what they wanted us to play, but they supported us 120% the whole way. So that's kind of how we fell into the music there.
Awesome. Well, you guys got a couple songs for us, right?
Yeah.
Let's play one.
Yeah. So we worked up a couple things, and this is a little bit of a country flavored thing. This is called "Love to Burn."
Love to Burn.
Looking in my rearview mirror, hometown rolling out of sight. Thinking about that empty motel room I'll be staying in tonight. Baby, don't you worry, soon I will return. We'll have time to spend and money to spare. Baby, we'll love to burn. Love to burn, burn on you. Love to burn, don't you know it's true? Yeah, you get me hotter than a bowl of bottled water. Got a fever of 102. Love to burn, burning hot. Love to burn, give you all I got. Yeah, baby, I got love to burn. Burn on you, here you go. Honey, I'll be on my way. You're the apple of my eye. I love the games you let me play. Baby, don't you worry, soon I will return. We'll have time to spend, money to spend. Baby, we'll have love to burn. Love to burn, burn on you. Love to burn, don't you know it's true? Yeah, you get me hotter than a bowl of bottled water. Got a fever on too. Love to burn, burning hot. Love to burn and give you all I got. Yeah, baby, I got love to burn. Burn on you. Yeah, baby, I got love to burn. Burn on you. Yeah, baby, I got love to burn. Burn on you.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Love to burn.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, just recently, I know you got sponsored. Tell us a little bit about that and the journey behind it.
So, I kind of briefly mentioned to y'all a little bit earlier that I've been on the road for the better half of 20 years now, touring all around with so many different bands and awesome people, and a lot with my brother, the Corbitt Brothers band. And I'd always thought that kind of, when you get on the big stages and doing the big tours and doing that kind of stuff, that's when things roll in. But I had tried to get sponsored for a long time, being a harmonica player. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get sponsored by Hunter. It's not an easy thing. It's a kind of a tight-knit community, the harmonica community is, and the people that get sponsored are usually like super worldwide famous, you know what I mean? Like John Popper and all these people. So I'd had multiple people reach out, record labels, all sorts of people, PR people reach out to them, and never really heard anything back. They just never really answered. And during COVID, I was up in my cabin in North Carolina, the family cabin up there, and I was up in the mountains, tucked off, and I've always loved rap and hip hop. And I come from Jacksonville, Florida, and just kind of like that was a lot in the culture down there, and a big part of who I am. And I was just thinking, I was sitting on the porch one day, and I was listening to a Roddy Ricch song called "The Box," and I was sitting there like, man, no one ever plays harmonica to this kind of stuff. And instead of like playing harmonica licks, I was taking a more rhythmic. I was taking more like a drum, like a ba 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 ba. I was taking like a different approach to it, and I just took it like a one take. I just put on my camera on TikTok and put out that video, and I didn't have very good signal up there in the mountains at all, thank God. And so I didn't think about it. The next day I went into town and I looked at my phone, and it was just bing, 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 blowing up. I'd never had anything go viral before, and I kind of looked at it, and it was over 1 million views, and had hundreds of thousands of likes. And at that point, I had kind of like was shocked, as anyone would be, especially because I definitely grew up half of my life, with the internet, but the other half of my life, I'm proud to say I was one of those people that did not grow up with the internet. So I'm still trying to get used to the way of this new world that we live in. And, it's like that instant famous stuff where all of a sudden you're nobody, then all of a sudden millions of people know who you are. And so I kept putting out videos and doing different videos and doing different stuff. And a couple of them would just be fun. I tried not to chase that high of the likes and the stuff. I would just put out random stuff. Some was country, most of it was rap. Some of it was jazz, some of it was blues, some of it was reggae. I was just putting harmonica in each and every little zone that it usually wasn't in. Everyone knows harmonica for like country, bluegrass, blues, and I just kind of wanted to break the mold and get outside the box. And I just kept doing hip hop songs, and they just got bigger and bigger, and more people started noticing. And that's when like the people started calling. Like America's Got Talent was calling, and then Hunter emailed me, and Hunter wanted to endorse me. And it's funny because when I come, their headquarters is right outside of Nashville, and I came over here to meet them and sign contracts with them. And when I did, I said, I've been reaching out to you guys for like the better part of 15, 20 years. And I was sitting there trying to, I've done this and I've done that, and I've played with them, and these guys are sitting here like, and I just kind of felt dumb, and I was like, "What?
Am I missing something?"
Yeah, like I'm missing something. Like, y'all don't care about any of this big stuff I've done, and they're like, "Yeah, no, all that, throw in the trash. That 10-second video you put on TikTok, that's why we want you."
Wow.
And it kind of like it was a shock to me. I was just kind of saying like, "It's the videos, the TikTok videos," and they said, "That's why we want you, because you're inspiring millions of younger generation kids to like harmonica, because harmonica is an old-timey old folks. When you hear people talk about, oh, my granddaddy played harmonica, or my daddy played harmonica, no young people are interested in harmonica for the most part. And he said, you're playing these songs to Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus and Roddy Ricch and these rap songs, and it's engaging the younger people, and it's making them want to learn. And you can go through my TikTok, and there's just tens of thousands of comments of younger people saying they're buying a harmonica because of that video, and they want to learn and all this stuff. And so it's kind of like hard for me to wrap my head around at first, but I understood my place in the world at that point. And so they endorsed me on, and when I got with them, I started putting out a lot more videos. And then I had the idea of like, a lot of these people who were commenting on my videos were saying like, we hear you play, but I went and bought a harmonica that doesn't sound that way. And I was like, okay. So I don't know how to read music or anything. I play all by ear. And so I don't really know any theory. So I was like, how do I teach people harmonica? So it's kind of like a harmonicas for dummies. I started putting out these how to play harmonica videos on TikTok. And it was just quick, how to hold it, how to make the wah sound, how to breathe one note at a time. And then it would kind of get into, you know, different ones. But those started getting 5, 6, 10 million views. And those were getting very viral. And then hundreds of thousands of people a day were liking these, and just thousands, tens of thousands of comments of people like, I'm following your videos, please put out more tutorials. And I realized that like people want to learn this instrument. And it's kind of like, you know, you get it, you hear someone that's wailing on it. It's not an easy instrument to learn because it's one of the only instruments in the world that doesn't have a button or a string. So a guitar, a flute, a bagpipe, any instrument you can really think of is like, okay, put your fingers here or make this or do something. It's hard to tell someone what my tongue's doing in the back of my throat and what my teeth and everything's positioned because you can't see inside my mouth. So it's one of those really hard things to try to explain to someone. So I started just kind of breaking it down. And just like, how would I teach if I wanted to learn? And that's kind of how that, you know, the notoriety and my endorsements and everything started just kind of flooding in from that, just from these TikTok videos. And it's weird, it was like specific for a while, specific to that app. I would post the same video on TikTok and get in 2 days 6 million views, 300,000 likes, 400,000 likes, and then I'd post the same video on the same day to Facebook and Instagram and got 200 views and 10 likes. You know what I mean? It was just like TikTok was really putting me out. That's why I kind of told you a little bit earlier, like the comments that I was getting wasn't just hometown people like, oh, you sound great. It was like thousands of comments from Japan and thousands of comments in French and comments in Arabic and all this, like people from all over the world were really engaging with what I was doing. And thank God they have the translation thing on TikTok so I could translate all these comments and try to message all these people back. And I really always try to engage with this fan base that I had on there. Because in my opinion, man, it's not about the money, it's not about anything. Like if I can change one person's life for the better, like this one changed my life, like this harmonica did for me, it brought so much joy, then that's like my life goal. It's just like get someone turned on to it and it can change it. This harmonica changed the course of my entire life.
That's so awesome.
I have always said that when music is my love and it makes me happy, and if it ever turns into something that's like work, I'm surrendering because it becomes a job, and I'm retired. Yeah. And for a hot minute there, I won't lie, music did become a job for me because of the extensive touring. Me and my brother lived for a decade. Me and my brother and a drummer for a solid decade in our big RV, just touring. We didn't have really an address. We just toured. We just stayed everywhere and played everywhere, and it was a big party and it was a lot of fun. What I remember of it was really good. And after that, it was kind of like this, now we have to keep it going and we have to keep doing this, and you're living gig to gig, and if you don't make it to a gig, then your bills are behind. And it was just kind of one of these things that I was like, man, you know, so, and then I went and got another job doing construction and slowly realized like God put me on this earth to play music. You know what I mean? I can do other things. I'm able, you know, I got an able-bodied, you know, dude, but like my passion is in music. When you guys, and I know we talked about some of this earlier, when you started out on the road, did you have places that you were assigned to play, or did you guys just kind of walk in?
We were grassroots. We were our own booking agents, own PR, own everything. Our story of the Corbitt Brothers band, and me and my brother and myself, my solo stuff, it's all word of mouth and grassroots. It was all, someone would hear us or see us playing somewhere and they would love the energy that we put out, and they would just say, okay, you've got to come play here. And then we started having like, okay, so Jacksonville, Florida, we were from. My mom and dad had taken my little sister and moved up to North Carolina when I was just getting out of high school. They always wanted to live in the mountains, and they finally did. So we had Jacksonville and North Carolina. And then so we had Murfreesboro, where we had ended up leaving Jacksonville and met. So we had this like oblong triangle. So we were like, okay, we got these 3 plots. So we'd go to Jacksonville and play some shows. People knew us back there from Southern Trouble and our old bands. So when we started the Corbitt Brothers band, it was kind of like already had a built-in fan base down there out of just friends. And then we go to North Carolina and we play up there, and it's the mountains. It's in the mountains. It's mountain people. They love the harmonica and guitar.
Yeah.
They got down with it. I mean, it was like an instant, we'd play a couple shows and all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. And it was small towns. They only had one bar to play in. So we'd play in that bar, and then all of a sudden, everyone would come out, and it would get bigger and bigger. And then we did the same thing with playing around Murfreesboro. And once we started touring at that point, we were like, how do we fill in between these places? Like, we're going straight through Atlanta, we're going down here, we're going all these places. Like, how do we fill in? So we just started calling and sending little press kits that we had made and printed up and mailing them to these places. And we didn't even really have a sound. We didn't have a CD or anything out for people to hear. And it was kind of not before the internet, but like the internet didn't really matter back in those days. No one really cared. So it was just a little bit more difficult, but it was all word of mouth. And people would say, hey, come play at my bar. Or a fan in the crowd would be like, oh man, I live in blah, 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 Georgia. You need to come play in blah, 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 Georgia. I got this spot my buddy owns. And we would just say, yeah, we'll do it. Because we were living, on the road that time. We were trying to get all the gigs we did.
That's a difficult life. And,
yeah.
And if I always tell people, those of us who are songwriters, we get the fluffy job because we're home. And a lot of these guys going out on the bus, and we joked about, the guy being thrown out of the airplane. I'd be the one going on the bus going, I'm not going.
Yeah. Which is where I'm at now in my life.
Well, that's cool, though. I mean, you have to, I don't know, I call it a triangle. You have to balance everything out if you're going to make things work.
Life is all balance. But back then, we were so young and on fire. There was zero balance. We were just ready to not be putting up fences and just be playing music.
Yeah, okay.
Even when we had moved to Murfreesboro, we weren't making money playing music, so we both worked at a liquor store, and I worked at a t-shirt factory thing.
How many things did you do that you didn't want to do?
Oh man, so many.
You heard my story, and I go,
so many.
But I was blessed. I mean, I was here. I stayed here in the area, and I didn't go anywhere really. My tours were up home and to relatives' areas, and but this has been. I mean, I chose Murfreesboro all those years ago, and this is where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be in the thick of the city, but yet at the same point, it's where I longed to be.
Like I said, Murfreesboro, when we came here, had a rich music scene. I don't want to say it doesn't as much now. It doesn't as much now. I will say that it does not have as much of a thick music scene as it did. There is still a good music scene here, and thank God there is venues that have live music and pay. But back then when we moved here, it was hopping. And there was a lot of people coming out to support these jams and these bands and all these places. There was a large, rich music scene here. So we just kind of fell into place here, and we really enjoyed it. And so, all of our stuff was grassroots. Grassroots, word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. Then we put out an album, and that got out, you know what I mean? And then a lot of this stuff, too, I was... being the harmonica player that I was, like I was sitting in with all these other bands, and me and my brother in our band, like we love jam bands, and we're big fans of Allman Brothers and stuff. So we'd go to all these jam band festivals, and when then we'd start like, oh man, we got a daytime slot on this festival. Someone heard of us, and they would call us and they want to play, but 11 a.m. you can play on the little stage over here, and we're like, yes, we're in the festival. And then while we were in, someone would be in the crowd and see me and be like, hey, my band's playing at 9 o'clock on the big stage. You want to come play? And it was just this word of mouth where I started playing with all these other bands. And then
Bonnaroo?
I played Bonnaroo last year.
Okay.
It was just all these big festivals. And we would go and play. And a lot of them, we were just going to be patrons, just to go and party and listen to our favorite bands. And then we started getting on some of these on the schedule and through word of mouth.
That's a big ordeal here, and a lot of people still don't really gather what Bonnaroo is about. I went to the very first one.
Really? That's back when it was
Ichiku.
Yeah. Whoa! What?
That was the original one. Was called Ichiku, not Bonnaroo.
Wow.
And I ended up taking my young sons to this. And they're both into music, but only one of them is really dedicated to it. Mm-hmm. He's a praise and worship director at a church.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what my parents did.
Yeah. So, let's do another. We did this, and you're still in A, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll do this. This is called A One Night Affair Won't Do. Out on my own once again, looking for a love that will last. Digging up the wild old time songs so many years back in my past. And I can feel the eyes staring at me, cause I'm the new kid in town. But on this road there's no more for you see, cause I'm not hanging around. And I'm not looking for a one night affair. One night affair won't do. Gotta find a love that's gonna pull me through. For somebody to be kind of gentleman, a little sacrificial, give me everything that I need. One that can set my heart on fire and never try to make me one that can fill my soul's desire. Tell me, girl, is it you? I'm not looking for a one night affair. One night affair won't. Gotta find a love that's gonna pull it through. Here we go.
Beautiful. Love it, man. Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
love that song, dude. It's killer.
So, anything exciting, that's coming up? I know you got a
Oh.
movie or a documentary in the works.
Life in itself is exciting. Just all the parts of the moving parts of life. I'm just happy to be alive and blessed by God to have everything that I have and be where I'm at. Man, found out me and my wife were 16 weeks pregnant.
Woo-hoo.
Got a baby.
Congratulations.
Got a baby boy coming.
Congratulations.
Thanksgiving Day was the due date, so I keep saying we're gonna have a little butterball turkey. So that's exciting. I'd say until about 3 or 4 years ago, I had always said I'll never have kids. I'll never be married.
Never say never.
Yeah. And it's probably TMI, but back in the day, for the longest time, I always wanted to get snipped. I didn't even want a chance. Living on the road, it was one of those better just not to risk it. But all the doctors and family and people were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that until you're 35 to make that decision. And I was like, well, what if I just pay for it? And they're like, yeah, we're not going to do it until you're 35. And I'm so glad for that wisdom that they had. Because now looking back, I would have kicked myself in the butt if I would have ever done that. But so yeah, we got the baby coming, which is probably the biggest thing in my life that's ever happened, and we're super excited.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
How old are you?
I'm 36. I'll be 37 in October.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good time to have. My brother waited late.
Yeah.
And,
Well, my wife's 27. She's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So, she was always said, I didn't want to hold her up from living her life because I got to live out my 20s and into my 30s and partying, and I didn't want her not to. So she had a good thing. She said she always envisioned in her late 20s, that she would settle down and do that. So it all just kind of fell together. and her and I, we met each other through music as well. And so, yeah, the baby, and then, of course, the Honer and sponsorship and endorsing thing has been really good. They've been so good to me with everything I need and backing me and everything. And I guess because of this TikTok and because of the influence worldwide that these little videos have been inspiring people to play, I can't really announce it right now. I got some big stuff, some big worldwide stuff coming up with Honer soon, and they're filming a documentary on me, because when we release this news at the end of the summer, everyone in the world is going to be wondering, like, who is this guy and why is this happening? And so we've been doing that and filming that, and they've been coming to shows and filming, and we're going out to the lake this weekend to film some shots out there on the boat and just kind of hanging out and fishing. They were like, well, I'd asked them how they do these documentaries, and they're like, well, usually it's all about music, and I said, I really want to incorporate like my wife and her being pregnant and fishing and stuff that I actually enjoy doing other than harmonica. Just give a little, if you're going to put a video out on who I am, might as well show them exactly who I am, because I don't just live on stage anymore.
Do you get those things where, laugh, because I've been here 30 years, almost 28 years solid, working on 29, people will hear you and go, why are you not somebody?
Oh,
and then you go,
Lord,
why, gee, thank you.
I mean, all day, but it's very humbling, because I feel like for so long in my life, you want to be, maybe it's ego, I don't know what it is, but you just want to be famous. You want to be on a tour bus. You want to step off and people know who you are. And I don't know what part of the human psyche that is. That the more and more people I met that had that resented it and couldn't stand it. They couldn't go anywhere. They can't do anything without people on them. Their family can't go to dinner without being interrupted 12, 15 times. You want to take a picture? Can I get an autograph? And it really had ruined relationships. And I don't know, it's not all about the fame and about the stuff. It's very humbling, this world is. And I've always said that to especially any musicians that are listening or watching or whatever. Like, the way of the world is you have a big sold out show, and in the next 3 shows, there's 20 people show up. That's the way it's supposed to be. I feel like that's life slapping you back down to normal. Because if they were all the best, and like, I don't know how I would handle that as the human that I am. So yeah, I do get it a lot. I still all the time. Yeah, I get it. You're doing really well with that. When are you gonna get a job? When are you actually gonna like grow up and do something? And I just kind of laugh and just go, well, I had a job and I hated it, so I figured I'm going back to music. But I've also been very blessed, you know what I mean? The music community and everyone really enjoys what I do almost as much as I enjoy it. So, there are ways to make money, and I am living outside of Nashville, so it's like I do a lot of studio work, and I try to monopolize on being cheap and easy. You know what I mean?
I get that a lot.
You don't want that to get too public, okay?
Yeah, right. I'm married now. Nah, but I try to monopolize on that. People call, and I'd rather get the gig and be on the song than charge too much and then go, oh, we'll find someone else. So I just, I don't ever really say no to opportunity these days. I just try to keep an open mind about everything and everybody, and just kind of, and it's usually a challenge too, because a lot of these people and a lot of these songs, it's not all just cookie cutter. A lot of it is, but a lot of it's not. A lot of these people have really good compositions, and a song where I think, oh, this is going to be easy, and I'll get in the studio and go, whoa, well, this is making me like, oh, okay, I need to forget what I've been doing for years, and I need to learn something new, a new technique. And I have buddies who are, I have a couple buddies who are unarguably the best harmonica players in the entire world. That's why when people tell me that to me, oh, you're the best in the world, I'm like, oh, no. You should hear who I listen to.
I was telling Toast before you got here a little bit about yourself, and I was like, man, this guy is a heck of a harmonica player.
Yes,
I was like,
well, you saw me on stage too.
Yes,
that's my environment. When there's like a raging band, like you saw me with the Joey Fletcher band. If y'all never heard of them, check them out. They're here out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and Joey, he used to be in the Corbitt Brothers band, and his drummer Buck was our drummer for like the better part of 15 years. So it's almost like it's family playing with these guys, man. Because I went so long living in Florida and touring, without playing with them. I'm glad I'm back here jamming with my boys, but when I'm in a high energy environment, And then I have my pedal board where I can make the harmonica not sound like a harmonica. Or, make it sound like a B3 organ, or make it sound like different things. I really find myself in my element in that point. I love playing acoustic harmonica, but my jam is really playing live music with big band.
I mean,
big sound.
Like a MIDI pedal? Is that what?
I usually run double bass octave pedals, so I can take it's like
okay,
like that. It's an actual bass pedal, like for a bass octaver. I run one of those. I run a super chorus pedal, and there's a difference. Like on harmonica, you can play single notes, and you can also play chords. So like the single notes is a chord is, and if you put enough air, you can get a. It's like you slowly bend one. Yeah, it's like that effect. When you do that with a chorus pedal, good luck trying to find it apart from the. It's actually funny because the show that you were at, there is a dude playing the organ, and he kept going, man, I don't know what's me and what's you at this point. Like it's like, I was like, man, if I'm messing you up, I'll quit using my chorus pedal. But that's just how in my brain I revert to it. And then I use delay pedals. A lot of delay so I can get that
okay.
Almost get that kind of like when the levee breaks feel.
I've always been kind of amazed about, and again, I consider myself a low-tech redneck. I would much rather, I'm waiting for AI to go, this is toast, and it's not toast.
Dude, we're not far. They're not going to need me either.
And I had to look at that, but there was a place up in Ohio where I'm from that the guy was a pedal steel player, and he was a well-known pedal steel player here in the area for a long time. And we're sitting there, my brother would go, who's playing the fiddle? We're looking around the stage, and there's nobody playing fiddle. And then the next thing you know, it'd be, there's no keyboard up there. Who's playing the keyboard? And I finally had to take him up to the stage and show him, this is all this guy doing this stuff with this MIDI box.
Yeah, being versatile.
Oh,
looping.
wow.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that stuff, that's innovative.
Well, I love to be. I got to a certain point where, and I have this theory, and it is a theory, but usually, and I don't know about these days, but when we were touring, it was all these 4-hour shows every night, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. Nobody, including myself, wants to hear harmonica for 4 hours. It's just not. I had to break up the monotonous. And I also, like I talked about earlier, is kind of like breaking outside of that box of harmonica. Doing like easy skank, man. I'm from the beach, like Jacksonville Beach area, man, and a lot of reggae bands down there. And if you have a chorus pedal, a bass octave, you can hit that, and it sounds like
okay.
You can do that easy skank, like
the calliope effect.
Yeah. Or you do like a keys player that's got a bottom keys, and he's got a top keys. And you can do these reggae tones with it and everything. So I really started trying to like branch out and then I would listen to these, I would study even like Greg Allman and these people that were playing the B3 and playing these organs. And I would go home and try to learn these organ parts on the harmonica. Instead of learning harmonica riffs, I would learn bass riffs, guitar riffs, organ riffs. And that's why a lot of people would always walk up and be like, well, this is that ain't harmonica. That's not how it's supposed to be played. And I'm like, it sounds good to me. I'm sorry if you don't enjoy it, but like, it's in my soul. It's coming out, and I can't stop it. Like,
Oh, you're a traditionalist.
Yeah. And I still get it, man. You know what I mean? There will be a video on TikTok that'll have millions of likes and people who love it, and you'll always have those on there like, this is trash. You're disrespecting the name of harmonica. This isn't harmonica. And I just laugh like, I mean, a million people disagree with you, but whatever you say, man.
Apparently you're doing something
I
right.
hope you don't lose sleep over it, man, because I'm not.
So, I mean, for our listeners out there that want to follow you, social medias or places that you're playing, how can we go about doing that?
Yeah, as far as the social media, it's just all my name, Isaac Corbitt. My last name, Corbitt. And first name, Isaac, because most people, even myself, don't know how to spell Isaac. Y'all read your Bible. Come on now. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't know how to spell. And if you don't get them just right on a lot of these things, it'll bring you up to God only knows who's another Isaac Corbitt out there and what they're doing. But yeah, that's all my social media is just my name. And I play a little bit around. I'm still playing with Melody Trucks. I get down with her a little bit when we're booking a little tour up here, and then I play with a lot of people. Kind of like I was explaining to you a little bit earlier. There's a lot of people from TikTok. I'll scour the internet and find people that I like their sound, and if it's country or rock or whatever it is, I'll do a duet video with them, and I'll have their video playing, and then a video of me connected to it of me playing over their video. So I'll just do leads when the lead comes in, and that's brought me a lot of exposure to the actual musicians and the artists. And a lot of people now have kind of know who I am on the internet, and these big and different upcoming artists will be like, "Hey man, I'd love for you to do a duet to my song," and I'll put it out. And then all of a sudden I get the call, "Hey, you want to go on tour? You want to be on an album? We're showcasing Nashville. You want to come out?" So I come out and I just jam with people now. I'm not really interested in touring full time anymore. I got baby on the way. Just want to spend time with my wife and the family. And
Are you doing much in the studio?
doing a lot in the studio. And I'm about to start doing a lot more. I'm getting into sync licensing and being on movie soundtracks. And every time I'm sitting at home and I'm watching like Swamp People, and you hear that slide guitar and that, I'm like, who is that? Why is that not me? How do I become that person that's sitting in their home studio just cranking out 20-second sound bites that they sell to people in sync license, and they just get mailbox money? That is what I've always wanted to do. Mailbox money I always thought was just for songwriters, and I am a songwriter for sure, and I do sing, and this year I'm putting out a bunch of my original stuff, but it's not where my heart is. My heart is with the instruments. I don't ever want to be out singing and performing that much. I'd rather just be in the studio doing stuff, but studio can be stressful. If it's a lot of money and you're on someone's dime, you know what I mean, and it's chop, chop, chop. I like the home studio and like the vibe like y'all have right here on this, you know what I mean? It's very chill. And I like that in the studio too. That's why I've set it up. And you were talking earlier about your basement studio. Me and my wife right now are about to start adding on to our home because the family's getting bigger. And we had talked about it, and I was like, I want a storm shelter because like moving up here, man, I'm used to hurricanes. I could deal with hurricanes. They give you plenty of notice before they get there. But these tornadoes scare the hell out of me. And they just pop up. And it seems like that tornado thing over at MTSU just never stops. It's like once, twice a week, it's just going. So I said, I want to put in an underground storm shelter. I just wanted like a 10 by 10 room, and then we ended up like figuring it out where we're just going to put in a basement. And I was like, oh, this studio is about to happen. Because my studio now is like in my guest bedroom, so it's like half studio, half bedroom, which is about to become the baby's room. So I was like, oh, so once I get the studio down there, I feel like I'm really going to dive in on like learning more of the recording and the producing side than just the touring side.
I had friends that actually built not a garage, but a studio separated from the house. And that they said it was the wisest thing they ever did because they were separated from the
rest of the house.
in the midst of it recording.
That's why we figured if it's a total block room with concrete ceiling and everything, like an actual storm shelter, but basement, maybe, and I'll have to put in lots of sound paneling and carpets on the wall and stuff, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Or I might have to. I have a detached garage that might have to become the studio. I don't know when there's a baby.
I have a detached garage, and it was a catch-all, and I've been fighting the last few weeks trying to get that back to man space.
Me too.
Man cave space.
Me too. It's interesting how you acquire things when you have space for it.
Well, again, you guys, it's a pleasure to have you, Isaac.
Thanks
here
for
at
having
Unique
me on
Beatz
here.
Studio, and you're gonna kick it off with another song.
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
Once again,
Awesome.
thank y'all so much for having me on here.
You got
You're
A there,
great
is that?
people.
You're going to do an E.
You're going to be an E? And for anybody real quick that was wondering, I play Honer Rockets. Because I know a lot of people, I'll get done with one of these interviews or something, and they'll be like, well, what kind of harmonica do you play? I play Honer Rockets. So if you're interested, ask your
And you
music
said
store.
this was like an upshoot of the blues model.
Yeah, so the ones I've played for most of my career is these Special 20s. They've been around forever. They're the John Popper signature series from like Blues Traveler. And they play awesome. I've always loved them. But I used to get pliers and bend these down. You can see how they opened up the backs and the sides. And they made the holes bigger and rounded the edges so they're not so sharp. And they just kind of upgraded it. The Honer Rockets are the first customized harmonica that Honer has put out for retail that you can go buy. All the other ones are stock. I mean, they all play great. This is just Yeah, it's just a little bit more customized.
Nice box. Do you? And you showed us a device where you
Patent pending.
came
Yeah.
to the idea about clipping them on your belt. I mean,
Yep.
and yeah, everybody's got either the apron or the gun belt.
Oh, I you know, and I had one of those the belt things, the bandolier. Then I've recently just lost like 80 pounds. I got huge, man. I just love food and alcohol. And when I had stopped touring, I just started eating. And I gained a bunch of weight, and I was just like, I couldn't fit in my harmonica bandoliers anymore. Even the ones that went around my waist, I was like, damn, I think I got too big for these things. So I got to find a way to clip it on my belt now. So like, you know, I just got innovated with stuff I had around the house already.
How much did you lose?
Huh?
How much did you lose?
As of this morning, or as of this afternoon, 82 pounds.
Wow.
I'm down,
Awesome.
I'm down 82 pounds. So hopefully next month or two it'll be 100,
Is this like
100 pounds
keto
down.
or?
This sounds so horrible, but it's true. Everyone's been asking me, man, like, good job, how'd you lose all this weight? I actually got real sick. And
Not the way to lose.
no, it put me in the hospital, and I had multiple surgeries, and I couldn't eat but the soft foods for months. And then I'm still dealing with some gastro stuff, so I'm on the Mediterranean diet. So I can pretty much just lots of olive oil, leafy greens, carrots, lots. And I can only eat like fish and some chicken. No more red meat anymore. No alcohol. I'm just a very strict diet, you know, that I'm on. But it's also I feel better than I have in so long. Just losing that 80 pounds. And I was like 325 pounds. You know,
Wow.
big boy. And you know, it was just, you know, with that comes
That takes a lot of dedication. I did about 40 pounds, and
that's a lot.
and that was all. I called it Cheeto keto because I'm diabetic,
Yep. Okay.
and there was then times I had to go get my doctor going. Sometimes you got to live.
Well, my family diabetes runs in it real strong, and my doctor was like, "Yo, bro, you're pushing it. You know, if you don't have it, you will. You keep on the way you're at." And I was like, you know, it's time to change. And I'm glad for the change. But the keto diet's, I mean, it's great. All these diets, the Mediterranean diet, I love it. You know, it's like kind of reversed. My blood pressure is not as bad. Like all these things. I feel better. I play better. It's like anything. You know what I mean? You don't notice you're feeling bad until you feel better, and then you look back and you look back like, oh wow, I didn't feel as good as I thought I did. But
All right. This is a little bit slower. We're gonna get some of that that slow, heartfelt
okay.
feeling out of this.
You're an E.
How we got down this road, I don't know. Where we go from here ain't exactly clear, but I know for sure there could never come a day we can't get to where we were from where we are today. Where we are today is far apart. From here, there's no way to start. Find a way to mend these broken hearts. We can't get to where we were from where we are. Love that we once had
is no more. Was just meant to be, I finally say. And from where I stand, it's best to let it lay. We can't get to where we were from where we are today. We can't get to where we were from where we are today. We can't get to where we were from where we are today.
Beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Another original?
Yeah.
Man, that's beautiful. Love that. You're chock full of them.
Yeah, about 400.
About 400. I hope y'all got time. We're going to be here a while.
Well, again, it's always a pleasure having you on the
Thanks so
Parker
much,
Radio
man.
Show.
Appreciate
Yes.
both of y'all for having me
You know,
on.
Here at Unique Beatz,
Pleasure to meet
it's
you.
more than music. It's kind of our slogan. So,
Mhm.
you know, like you were saying earlier, you know, it's not just about the music. You know, it's about the family and
100%.
you know, coming together.
Community.
The community,
And
man.
the community.
That's what I tell
Community.
people all the time. It's not about it's not about competition. It's all about community. You know.
Yeah, I've got even hospitality people that you know, I've been blessed. I've been so blessed, and after I find out what their bill situation is, and I'm a low-tech redneck, so Venmo and all that stuff, my phone with the cat, and I'm stupid. and you know, I walk up to some of these people in the club, and I give them a handshake, and they're looking at $100 bill, and I'm going, look, you know, I've been blessed. This is to help you. And I said, I don't do it online. I don't, you know, here's how I help you.
Yeah, and that's passing the torch.
That's
Because there's too many people that won't do it or don't believe in it. But, you know, as being a touring musician, that is everything to these people who are pouring their heart out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times,
hospitality, musicians.
yeah, all of them. Everything. Down to your servers. that are
Riggers
serving your food.
Union.
Yeah, everybody, man. It's just a community. And if more people, you know, just put in and respect, that's what everything in life comes down to, that word, respect. I mean, if you respect yourself and respect everybody else and just respect the community that you're in, man, there's no way you can go wrong in life.
Character.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, again, thank you all for tuning in here to the Parker Radio Show.
Yep.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out Isaac Corbitt on all his social medias and his music journey. And it's always a pleasure having Toast.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, check out him on Reverb Nation and things like that as well. And again, thank you all for your continued support.
Y'all come back now, here.
Yeah.
This is D-Shot Renard, and you're listening to the Parker Radio Show. It's that home with the good stuff, home with the new music everybody wanna listen to, so tell me what you really gonna do. When we got DJ Parker on the ones and twos, D-Shot on the beat, so you know we can't lose. Check me out on Instagram at D-Shot Renard, and also check out D-Shot_1 on TikTok for some more daily raps and freestyles.
E harp. We'll do
Yeah.
we'll do this one. We kind of. This isn't about me, but these are songs that I wrote, and I always want to put a guy to work like this because he's really.
It's about us. It's all about community.
Looking in the rearview mirror, hometown roaring out of sight. Thinking about that empty motel room I'll be staying in tonight. Baby, don't you worry, soon I will return. We'll have time to spend, baby, we'll have love to burn. Was it a deal? Hey.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. Let's keep on rolling.
Okay, well let's
You
let
start
that
it over and we'll.
let's start that air. So here we go. It could be so we